Hello, Year 9, and welcome to Lesson 2 of the first week back from half term. Looking at development again, and this is our Lesson 2 of development. And today's lesson, we're going to examine the different methods used to classify development. So we're going to look at ways that we classify different countries in terms of their development. So, 3 learning objectives for today's lesson. First one is define the key terms of development. So just looking at some keywords and what they mean. We're then going to explain the different ways of classifying parts of the world based on quality of life and economic development. And then finally, we're going to have a go at a GCSE geographical skilled exam question. So the equipment you need for today's lesson is you need the internet for Word Wall, you need a pen and paper or a Word document. And again, just remember, if you're using a pen and paper, make sure that your writing is clear so that when you upload your work to ClassCharts, that your classroom teacher can mark your work easily. Just a quick recap of Know Your Level. And again, I'm not saying that you have to stick to those, but these are the levels that we expect you to do. So if you are up to a grade 4, you should be doing the developing tasks. If you're grade 5 or 6, you should be aiming to do the secured tasks. And then if you're level 7 plus, you should be aiming to do the mastered tasks. And again, like I said, you can push yourselves if you want and do a higher task than it is that than your grade is. We're not saying that you can't do that. Okay, so moving on to learning objective 1 of this lesson, we're going to define the key terms of development. Now, how we're going to do this is we're going to do this for a word wall activity. So what I want you to do in a minute is open up your word wall activity, have a go at defining the key words. It's a match-up exercise where you're matched up the key words to its definition. Okay, once you've done that, can you take a screenshot of your score? So just pause the video now and go back to ClassCharts and open up the word wall activity. Okay, so moving on to learning objective 2 of this lesson, we're going to look at classifying the country's development. So we need to be able to describe different ways that we can classify countries' development. And then we also need to look at these different classifications and what their strengths and weaknesses are. So what are the good things and the bad things about these different types of classification of development. Now, before I go on to the task, I want you to quickly create the following table. So for each section, you need at least 2 or 3 lines so you've got enough space to write the information down. So can you just quickly create the following table, please? Pause the video now while you do this. Okay, now I've given you a bit of time there to create the table. I want to go through the task that you're going to complete using this table. So using the information packs, and this is attached to ClassCharts, complete the research about the different classification methods. So for the developing task, can you tell me how each classification measures development? For secured, can you look on the information sheets and look for the strengths and weaknesses and add that to your table? And to keep it a bit easier, I've labeled the strengths and weaknesses on the information sheet with smiley face for the strengths and a sad face for the weaknesses so they can link to your table. And then once you've completed that, if you want to go on to the master task, can you rank your classifications from best to worst, 1 being the best, 3 being the worst, and then can you just justify why you've put them in that order? So why do you think the best one is the best, and why do you think the worst one is the worst way to measure development? Okay, once you've done this, can you take a picture of your work ready to upload to ClassCharts? So just pause the video now, head over to ClassCharts and open up the resource pack so you can complete this task. So pause the video now. Okay, moving on to learning objective 3 of this lesson, we're going to look at answering a GCSE geography geographical skills question. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is use figure 5, and figure 5 is a table showing indicators of development for 3 different countries. Now you've got 3 different countries, you've got China, Sierra Leone and Italy. You've got your GNI as one of your indicators, and remember GNI just tells you how much money a person is making on average every year in that country. So for example, in Italy, generally people are earning around $35,110 a year on average, okay? For your life expectancy then, that's just telling you how long people are living for from their birth to death. So for example, again, we use Italy. Italy, generally people live until they're 83 on average. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're just going to look at the three countries first of all. We've got China, which is represented as an NEE. We've got Sierra Leone, which is an LIC, and then finally you've got Italy, which is a HIC. So that shows you that there's three different ways that they've been already put into different levels of development, and we can tell this because of GNI. Remember, to be a HIC, you need to be earning more than $12,000 a year. To be an LIC, it's less than $1,000. And if you're an NEE, you're a country that's in between those two figures, so between $1,000 and $12,000. Okay, if we then look at life expectancy, you can see that there's a difference between Sierra Leone and Italy, significant. Italy, they're living to around 83, whereas in Sierra Leone, it's almost half of that. They're only living to about 45, okay? So again, that shows the difference in levels of development. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, first of all, can you create a character from one of the countries above? So from either China, Sierra Leone, or Italy. So you're going to create someone on a piece of paper, a face from that country. You're then going to answer the following question. Using the data, explain if the country has high or low level of development. So I've given some sentence starters. For developing, you're going to say, I live in, so let's say, for example, I live in Italy. I think the country has high or low level of development. So you'll probably say high level of development because, and you just tell me why. So that's where you could tell me which indicator you're using. So if you're going to talk about life expectancy, because they have a high life expectancy of this, okay? Secured. I think this because. So you're going to add this sentence. I think this because. So I think this because. So why do you think they have a higher level of development? What do you think that Italy has that maybe Sierra Leone doesn't? Or maybe they have a better version of it. So imagine if we talk about life expectancy, do they have better access to, say, healthcare, education? Does that mean that they live longer? And explain why that's the case. For mastered, then, you're going to tell me what happens in the future. So you're going to use the sentence starter. This means that what happens, what does this mean for your character in the future? Okay, this means that I can live a better life because, or if you're talking about Sierra Leone, this means that I won't live a long life because, and it just explain your point, okay? So once you've done that, once you've created your character and created the speech bubble with the answer to the question, can you take a picture of your work ready to upload to ClassCharts, please? Right, that brings us to the end of this lesson. Just want to quickly go through what I want you to upload to ClassCharts. So first of all, can you upload your table with the information of the different classifications of development? And that links to our second task, which was explain different ways of classifying parts of the world based on quality of life and economic development. And then your second piece of work I'd like you to upload is your character, and that links to your geographical skills exam question. And once you've done that and uploaded those to ClassCharts, you've finished the lesson. So well done for completing the lesson today. We're all looking forward to seeing your work. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Thank you.